What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to the latest Liverpool transfer news video, and in this video we will talk about the Timo Werner to Liverpool transfer, because the Leipzig sporting director gave a very detailed, extended interview on the possibility of Timo Werner leaving Leipzig or staying at Leipzig. And it's very interesting because the ever-changing situation in football around the world, I think it makes it even more difficult for transfers to be completed right now. Don't forget that Timo Werner has a release clause of £50 million that needs to be activated in April. The problem is nobody knows when this football season will be finished and when next season will be able to start, and also how much the economy and the football transfer market, how much will it change after this situation is over. So let me know guys, would you pay 50 million right now for Timo Werner if you were Liverpool? I think it's a no-brainer, even if transfers or transfer prices are cut in half, which I don't really see happening. I think maybe they will be 20, 30, maybe even 40% lower than before, but I don't expect the big football clubs to just run out of money. That's a bigger problem for the smaller clubs, but for Liverpool I think that even at 50 million, even if the transfer prices are cut in half, I don't think it's a lot of money for a player like Timo Werner, who scored 27 goals in 36 competitions. And also we will have many other Liverpool news in this video, especially Trent Alexander-Arnold and his opinion on how he developed as a player and who his football idol was. So lots of new information for you guys packed in this video. So if you enjoy this, leave a like, subscribe, turn on the bell notification so you never miss the latest Liverpool transfer news. So let's hear this report, which Sport 1, a German newspaper actually, and the German TV station, I'm not sure which one is it, but he gave an interview to this TV station, I think, and this is what he said. It is clear that Timo Werner actually made a lot of big clubs notice for the great performances of his goals and assists, and many big clubs are desiring Timo Werner. This is what the RB Leipzig sporting director Markus Krösche gave in an interview. So Timo Werner is at the perfect age to be signed by a big club, and until recently Werner was mainly associated with a move to Liverpool. Exactly a month ago Timo Werner fired up these rumors himself. He said that Jürgen Klopp, the German, is one of the best coaches in the world, and there are many reasons why I might be a good fit with my style of play. But Krösche said that England has the same problems as we do in the Bundesliga with this current situation, and also in addition to Liverpool, the two Manchester clubs, City and Man United, are also very interested. And before this situation had happened, before the leagues got postponed, everyone was ready to pay the release clause of Timo Werner, which is like 60 million euros, which is 52 million pounds, depending on the bonuses. That release clause is expiring at the end of April. But due to the economic collapse, the economic crisis that was triggered by the virus, I think it's even the financially strong English clubs have to tighten their belts, if you like, have to be very careful, and Krösche knows this. England has the same problems as we do, the Bundesliga clubs, relying on the fact that the clubs there work differently just because they have investors is wrong. Investors also have economic constraints. He's talking about the different model, because in the Bundesliga every club is fan-owned, basically, almost every club except Hoffenheim. Of course, the Hoffenheim director came in for heavy criticism from other fans and other football clubs. But especially like in England, you have owners, and not like the clubs aren't fan-owned, basically. So you have owners, but those owners are also businessmen, and some of those businesses will suffer because of the economic crisis that is happening, and that is just beginning. I think it will get a lot worse in the next 6 months before it gets better. I'm talking about the economy. And I think that this is what Krusha said. The crisis affects not just one industry, but many industries, and most of them have global impact. We cannot estimate at all today whether the current transfer market values will still be stable and the same in 6 months. So does Timo Werner stay in Leipzig after all? Everything is possible, says the RB Leipzig CEO or director, sporting director. We do not know how the transfer market will develop in the coming months. We are looking into a very foggy glass ball. We do not know what our resources will be and what other clubs will have to offer. Of course, it cannot be ruled out that Timo Werner stays at Leipzig. It's a very difficult situation because Leipzig also needs some money. So I don't think they would be very unhappy if somebody triggered the release clause. But of course, he's just saying that nothing is certain in these uncertain times. We are in uncharted territory. Not since the Second World War has there been postponement or of all professional football leagues around the world. I just read a post on Twitter that all professional football leagues around the world are suspended right now. Even the Australian League and even some league. I think the only league is like the Belarus Football League, which is continuing. But maybe I'm wrong, maybe that got suspended as well. And actually, Leipzig wanted to commit and sign on permanent transfers the loan deals of Angelino from Manchester City. They have an option to buy him for 30 million euros. And also Patrick Schick, who they loaned in from AS Roma, and that option is 29 million euros. But Leipzig at the moment can't really commit to these transfers because they don't know how hard their revenues will be hit in the next 6 months to a year. So it's very difficult to plan ahead. And even for a huge club like Liverpool, it's very difficult to plan ahead because you don't know when the football will resume. You don't know when the revenues will be coming in again. And even though I'm sure that Liverpool have many big cash reserves, this situation that is developing right now around Europe and North America is unprecedented. It's uncharted territory, as I keep saying. And I think that even Liverpool might be cautious and they might just say, let's just wait and see what happens and how much we have to restrict our spending, because Liverpool might lose sponsors, Liverpool might lose many different revenue streams until football starts again. And I'm not sure if the owners will be able to say, yeah, just sign Timo Werner for 50 million and we can figure out the economics later. Even for Liverpool, I think it's a very tricky situation. And this Leipzig sporting director hit the nail on the head, that even the investors, the rich investors in England, the owners, even those investors who have a huge amount of money, they will have some economic constraints, economic trouble. And there is a very interesting report coming from the Mirror saying that Premier League players and lower league players will revolt and protest against the plans to resume the season in the middle of this very dangerous situation. Players from the Premier League and further down the football pyramid don't want to resume the season at all until this situation is resolved that is currently happening around the world. And the Mirror is claiming that this suggestion that fixtures want to be played behind closed doors was put forward by the Premier League and the EFL as a strong possibility last week, but players up and down the country in the United Kingdom aren't keen on the idea. And even though it could happen in terms of the Premier League could say you have to play the games behind closed doors, I think it's absolutely madness to even talk about this right now from the Premier League, because the UK just went into a lockdown. How are you experiencing that? Let me know in the comments below. The UK just said yesterday you can't go out of your home, of your house, unless it's absolutely necessary for work or for getting a medical treatment or getting to the pharmacy or getting essential food on your table. And also you can go out to exercise next to your home once a day. And the players, the Premier League players, actually gave these reasons why they won't want to even play behind closed doors. They fear for their own safety and also the safety of their loved ones, because if they go out and get infected and then they go home to their family, to their grandmothers, I'm sure that they are fearful of getting their family sick as well. That's a good point. The next one, extra strain would be placed on emergency services with ambulances, paramedics, security that would be needed at a time when they are already being stretched to the limit, because those services will have to be at every stadium because football matches require ambulances, paramedics, because if a player gets seriously injured, he has to be taken to the hospital straight away. And they also do not want to play in empty stadiums with loyal fans being locked out. But the problem with this is, if you don't play behind closed doors, you might not be able to resume the football season until September, October. Who knows? Who knows when this situation will get much better? It's very difficult to say, but if most people keep the social distancing and they don't really go out, then we can get this situation much better in the coming weeks or months. So that's, at least I'm hopeful for that to happen. But I think that the Premier League players are right, that right now they are correct in that we shouldn't be talking about this. We should be just focusing on, you know, trying to do everything in our powers to get better in this situation, and hopefully after that we can think about football. And also Alexander Arnold gave a very extensive interview to GQ magazine where he said, I don't think I ever knew that I would be a really good footballer. I wouldn't think now that I'm a really good footballer. I would say I haven't reached my full potential at all. I'm not where I need to be and where I can be. So there's no point putting a label on it in my mind. I still have a lot of improvement to do. Growing up, there were always indications of it, but for me, it was just about playing every game. I wanted to win every game. It was never me thinking, I'm put on the planet and I have to be a footballer. It was more just every day going to train and wanting to win and wanting to be as competitive as possible. And I think it's very good to see that Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is already one of the best right backs in the world, is saying that he's not where he wants to be. He's not the finished product. He wants to improve. He wants to get better each and every day. And that's the winner's mentality. And I'm really happy that Trent Alexander-Arnold came through the youth academy, because he said that because of Liverpool legend Steven Gerrard, he actually wants to stay at Liverpool all his life. He said that he grew up supporting Liverpool and Celtic from afar. And of course he's a Liverpool fan through and through, but he also has a soft spot for Celtic. And he said, growing up I was a Celtic fan, but now because of the connection with Steven Gerrard being at Rangers, I'm probably neutral up there now. I would say my favorite other team would be Barcelona. I feel as though they've got kind of the same values and beliefs as Liverpool. And that's a big statement from Trent, saying that the team he admires the most is Barcelona. And also there is a very good article in The Guardian from David Kahn, who is saying that it was appalling that the authorities let 3,000 Atletico Madrid fans travel to Anfield when Madrid was already on lockdown, and when in Madrid the Atletico Madrid stadium was closed, the Spanish league was suspended, and they still let 3,000 people from Madrid, who was already a hotspot for this situation, to travel to Anfield. And also 54,000 people was let into the stadium, and it was let that they could mingle between each other throughout the whole day. And this was in a phase when the British government and Boris Johnson was perpetuating this ludicrous idea that herd immunity would be the best for the community. And the theory was that if everybody gets infected very quickly, then the virus will die down very quickly. And that's true, but the problem with that is that an awful lot of people, potentially hundreds of thousands, even millions of people could die in the UK alone because the hospitals can't get, they just can't sustain the capacity that was needed for this incredibly stupid idea to be carried out. Because if everybody gets infected, or if 80% of the population gets infected, then about 15% of the population has to be in intensive care, and there is maybe a 1% or a 0.1% capacity for the hospitals. For every 1,000 people, there are maybe 1 or 2 or 3 hospital beds. In the UK, I think it's 3 or 4, something like that. So it's absolutely ludicrous that the British government went ahead with the game. And at that time, the football matches weren't being cancelled, the schools were not closed. Basically everything was still open, and I find it ludicrous because at that time the Spain and especially Madrid had a lot of confirmed cases already, and the authorities, UEFA and the British government, just let 3,000 Madrid fans go to Liverpool and basically infect a lot of people. And I'm sure that in Liverpool the situation will get a lot worse in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So stay safe, guys. If you are watching this video, I really hope that you practice social distancing as much as possible, and you don't go out just when you are absolutely have to and it's absolutely necessary. And Liverpool's sports psychologist Lee Richardson is playing a very important role because he's helping players individually with their mental health, mental well-being. And he said, what happens with the decision of the Premier League is out of our control. All we can control is our behavior and our response to the challenge of keeping the most vulnerable safe and minimizing the social gatherings, in focusing on the controllable and in accepting that which we cannot control, the Premier League, the government response. We give ourselves the best chance of overcoming the psychological challenge of keeping perspective. As the manager has said, football is not the most important thing right now. The health and safety of all of us is far more important. And I think the players need an expert to guide them in these difficult times, because footballers are used to getting a lot of high stimulus and a lot of feedback from everybody, and they are used to playing games every week, twice, maybe even 3 times a week in this period of the season. And now they basically have to train alone, sit at home, maybe with their family, but some footballers don't even have a family right now, and they are just alone in their house. And it could get difficult, because this situation could continue for months. We don't know when it will be over, when the footballers will be allowed to train again and together at Melwood and things like that. So I think that a mental health expert is very, very important in this scenario, to guide the footballers, to help the footballers get through this situation. So let me know, what did you think of the topics that we discussed in this video. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed this. See you guys, goodbye.